And the next prompt is, affirmative action and DEI are necessary to ensure equality of opportunity.
And I would really like to speak to that one. There was a point where affirmative action was basically more women for men. In one of my areas where I worked, they looked around and realized they were all white men. Well, we have to get some diversity down here. And the first most desirable minority, Mr. Gutierrez, took one look around and said, I'm not working in this hellhole. They hired the second most desirable minority. Absolutely sure I physically couldn't do the job. Not only did I do the job, I became the head of the department, got everybody's jobs upgraded, and they still talk about the good old days. That opportunity was not open to me until somebody exercised affirmative action. It was affirmative to get the most qualified person in the door when the door had been shut and locked. I think that's how we see affirmative action. It opens the doors that had been locked.
For women. And that's the whole point of the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, agreed.
Let me say this. The 14th Amendment has been bastardized by the liberal Supreme Court justices because the 14th Amendment and the Civil Rights Act was meant for Black Americans. And yet who benefits from affirmative action? White women. You see, they've twisted and bastardized everything. And that's why Al Sharpton is still talking about DEI, like we just didn't fail with affirmative action. Black Americans didn't benefit with affirmative action. White women did. And then that's why you see all these white women, blonde, beautiful, beautiful white women, right? But they're all white women on TV now doing the news.
Mr. Gutierrez was not a white woman.
But I'm just saying it's disproportionate.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I don't know if anybody remembers Phil Donahue.
Yes.
Okay. Phil Donahue did a episode on this when it first came out. I don't know why I still remember that, but I do. And it was a panel similar to this that disagreed and agreed with affirmative action. I do believe that there are times that it can be beneficial, but it could also be used against. So imagine you're a white boss that needs to hire this quota because now you got to do it. And you just don't want those N-words in your company because you don't believe that whatever. And it happens. So what you do is you hire the least qualified Black person to meet the quota, to say we did it, and they don't represent well. And what people don't understand, or what white America doesn't understand, is that even though you may not be like that, your counterparts, some of your counterparts are. So they are. So they make it bad for others, and we don't, because we don't talk, we don't hear it. So at what point do Black Americans choose to get an education, choose to work hard, and choose to position themselves in those places? In other words, if we want to look at the numbers, if we're not going to school and we're not, excelling in these jobs that would be, let's say, executive jobs, then how can you say we're marginalized if we're not even competing at the same numbers? The pool is not even there. So there has to be a responsibility on the Black American side to do the same thing that white Americans are doing to get those jobs. Now, if we're getting there and we have 30 Blacks and you have, they say, 30 whites, and then you don't pick, then there's a problem. But it should not be. All Black Americans that disagree with affirmative action and DEI, the only thing they're saying is, don't hire me because of my color. We only want you to hire us because we're qualified.
We're all agreed with that.
But Black Americans have been rolling with the Democratic Party for the last 5-6 decades. And we're facing, I said this before, we're facing zero median wealth by 2053. So what was the whole point of everything? What was the whole point? What was the whole point of the Civil Rights Act? As I said, the data is the only thing that matters. This rhetoric means nothing. The data, if there's only 25% two-parent families in Black America, if we're facing zero median wealth by 2053, for every 10% increase in immigration and illegal aliens, Black Americans lose 1.5% of their income. That data that's the data. This rhetoric
But
is
corporate America has a responsibility. Corporate America has a responsibility. Why doesn't then corporate America, without any prompting from the government, just go to HBCUs and hire the best? You don't need a regulation to do what's right if you really want to change it. Why do you need government to tell you what to do? If you're not a racist company and you don't mind having black people in your company, then Coca-Cola, Hyundai, all these companies could easily go to the top HBCUs. We want the best. They could go in. They could say, we want to compete. Make all the black kids compete. And then you do, there's a number of things you can do. You should not need
the government
to tell you. What do we tell our kids? You shouldn't need me to have to give you an allowance to clean your room.
They cooking. I have to say, I 1000% agree. We shouldn't have to be forced into these positions. Unfortunately, because of the history of our country, we believe that we have to. We don't let things pan out the way that they're supposed to. Let the best compete. Rather than always putting little rules and regulations into place to make sure that we have a group, we have an allotted amount of positions readily available for a group of people simply because of the color of their skin, because we don't usually pick out the best from that. That's something that Charlie Kirk was talking about. Also, that's something that Thomas Sowell was talking about, how when it comes to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, you name it, all of the schools that's extremely difficult to get into, MIT, a lot of times black people will be able to get in because of the what you call it, the quota that they had to meet for the blacks that they can pull into there. Well, they will pull them in, and we will be at the bottom 10% of performance. We will get exposed because they're not bringing the best in. They're just bringing in some bodies because of the color of their skin. Now, some of the people that they're bringing in, I'm not trying to be extremely disingenuous with this. I'm not at all, actually. I want to be as honest as possible. But based off of my understanding, and I could be wrong, I'm a novice to all this stuff. I'm just now starting to dig my nails into this information and actually form an opinion, because I was burying my head in the sand when it came to political conversations all my life. But I still voted Democrat no matter what. And not until recently did I vote Republican when I voted for Trump. And hopefully you don't judge me too harshly for that. I have my reasons. 47-year-old man, married for 27 years to the same woman that I met when we were 15 years old in high school. And then, you know what I mean, we have 4 amazing young adult children. My youngest is 20, oldest is 28. Then we have a 23 and a 26 in the middle. Those are my 2 boys in the middle. Youngest and oldest are girls, and they're all doing phenomenal. All of them are college educated at the highest level because we saw that their education was most important. So now when headhunters come looking for the best of the best, my children are picked. I'm not bragging. I'm actually grateful that the Lord blessed us to be able to have children and be able to have an awesome marriage together where we can raise them with those values to put education first. Because like the young lady was saying, I shouldn't have to make these rules for you to do your homework. What we did was, and it worked, what we did was we told our children that they didn't have to have a job. That didn't stop them from getting their side hustles, selling candies and at school, buying big old boxes of candy from Costco and then going to school and selling them, or selling shoes and doing little things and tutoring for money and those type of things. So they still had their hustles. But we told them that for every A and B you get, we'll pay you. That's your job, to get an education at the highest level. And that's exactly what all of them did. Each and every one of them were at the top of their class in elementary school, in middle school, in high school, and in college. And so to God be the glory for that. So this young lady is absolutely right. Just pick the best. Go after the best. If you want black people to be in those positions, then go after the best, the biggest, and brightest of them. And you know where they are already. They're at HBCUs. And you're going to find a handful at you know, the Ivy League schools as well, you are, because if you're able to go to them schools, obviously you have something that other kids at these HBCUs do not have. I just have to put that out there. They're performing at another level. Like if they were to go to the HBCUs, the Yale Blacks were to go to a Howard University, they would probably be in the top percentile versus being at the lowest percentile at these Ivy League schools. I love this conversation, by the way.
So you hearken back to Phil Donahue, and I'm going to hearken back to Oprah. So once in a conversation about race, I heard Oprah say that if you are a Black person, every problem is about race. And if you are a white person, it's never about race. And the truth is somewhere in the middle. I think that when we are looking, what you all are looking at is the corporate end of DEI and affirmative action. The real crux of DEI is equity and equality. That means you would like for people to be on an even playing field when it comes to hiring. But if my family goes to a public school in a lower income area where I cannot attract good teachers, I do not have funding for my school's extra activities, how am I ever going to compete on an equal footing? It starts
Before
way
there was
long
ever
before you
civil
ever
rights.
get to an HBC to be able to have an equal opportunity.
Before, this is what got me. When they were hanging Black folks from trees, we still learned to read. When they were murdering us just for looking at a white woman down the street, we still learned how to read and do math. Before there was ever the civil rights movement, in Walter E. Williams' documentary, you can find it on YouTube, Black people owned businesses. They went to school. They were educated. So if we could do that then, when we didn't have civil rights, why do we need it now?
Yeah.
She's absolutely right. And just in case you guys don't know, and you can feel free to look into it, I have a video on my channel from not too long ago, probably like 4 or 5 videos ago that I posted on my channel, where we found out that one of the very first slave owners were Black. He was Black. And he also owned Black and white slaves. And he also took another slave owner to court for one of the slaves, and he won. So for people to act like we was just the gum at the bottom of somebody's shoe and we couldn't do anything without there being extra rules for us, it's a blatant lie. It's disingenuous. And you absolutely know it. If you're being honest with yourself, you will, but most people are so stuck on us being victims and oppressed that they want to stick and hold on to the Marxists, Dr. King, Michael King, originally, who his father changed their name to Martin Luther King. After he gave that dream, we were automatically oppressed, and we needed that extra leg up. You know what I mean? Okay, let's go.
Well, can I just say this? I mean, but why? But here's the thing. Why wouldn't people want to help each other?
But the thing of it, the question is,
why wouldn't
if
everybody
affirmative
wanna
action
help?
failed, if Democrat policies of affirmative action failed Black America, why would you go back to the same policy?
Do you guys believe they
If
failed?
DEI is basically
believe-
affirmative action.
Do any of you believe that affirmative action failed, or do you guys think it just stopped and it didn't have a chance?
If affirmative action were
no,
successful, you wouldn't need DEI.
I just want to ask them because I'm wondering, do they agree or disagree?
I will
about
agree
it failing?
to a point. What you've been talking a lot about tokenism, and having been hired as a token once, I kind of understand that. Where was I going with it? Equality, though, I don't think that the tokenism is as widespread as you may think. Some people, yes, have to be hit over the head to hire the right person instead of the white person. And I just, it floors me that when doors are locked, yes, you learn to read. Did they let you have a job because you learned to read?
But the thing of it is, I think during Jim Crow, Black Americans had more Black businesses. They had funeral parlors, banks, insurance companies, bus stations, restaurants, everything. So maybe, Black Americans need to be more self-sufficient and not thinking about working a job, but maybe being entrepreneurial and opening up their own businesses.
Well, if you think about colleges and universities, anybody can get into a college and university. They made that accessible for everybody. It's all in how people work towards what they want.
It's a mindset. If you have a victim mindset, if you feel that white people are always out to get you, oh, the white man this, I've heard people say, well, why do I even need to go to college? White man not gonna give me a job anyway. Or I'm this because of a white man. God, really? Give me a break.
She cooking. There's a whole bunch of that. People won't even try because they believe before they even step out on faith that they're gonna fail.
It's not, but there is a mindset that everything they're just coming out. I mean, I say to people, that white person is worried about their kid on drugs, their husband is probably having an affair, the company's going south. The last thing they're thinking about is you. They're exactly not. Right. But it is a mindset that plagues our society when you think about what comes out. And I do believe that some of these governmental issues or the elite have done a very good job of pitting blacks in a certain mindset, whites in a certain mindset, because we don't talk. When they had white flight, many whites don't know what white flight was, but you did have some white carpetbaggers, or what I call them, come into neighborhoods, scare them about black people, they move out, black people stay, nobody talks, racism, bigotry is no longer socially acceptable, and so everybody's living, but black people still have to deal with, well, what they did to Pookie now, or what happened to so-and-so, and we're still hearing the stories.
Al Sharpton
and it's something,
and the Jesse Jackson kept pushing for decades. We're talking decades of the same crap. Why do you do the same thing over and over and over? Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. Oh, it's racism, white supremacy. Oh, everything is racism,
Because it
white
is.
supremacy. No, how can...
Oh, no, it's not, lady. It's not. Well, you know what? Let me be quiet because, if the white lady is saying it is, maybe she knows something we don't know. Maybe she knows something that we don't know. I don't know. If she's saying... she don't sound like she's trying to make something up, but she probably drank the Kool-Aid and believed basically what all of the propaganda that they've been selling her and putting in front of her face all these years, she has bought into it. So it could potentially be that. You know what? It is that.
A lot of it is
How
racism.
can
Can I say
everything
this?
be racism and white supremacy?
So when I first met my partner, I was performing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? And we started dating. And she took me all around and showed me all the sites. And she took me to the Greenwood District. I don't know. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood District, where in the 20s and 30s, you know, right? Okay, black businesses, Black Wall Street, right? And she took me over to the Brady Theater and said, well, a lot of the black people were buried here. And I said, what are you talking about? Like, is this a date? It's like, what is this? And she said, you've never heard of the Tulsa race? And I said, no. She said, well, it was the Black Wall Street. She says, and they were, she says, and the black community was trying to better themselves. And I just get very upset when I remember it. And the white man came in and destroyed everything.
Here's the thing. This is what happens when people don't talk. I'm black, and I didn't know about Black Wall Street maybe the last 15, 20, maybe not in that long, 15 years. We don't talk. And so I understand when you hear it, because you're like, wait a minute, this isn't, I never. And then you hear it, I'm like you, I'm like, wait, we had Black Wall Street? We did what?
But that's because education
Because they
hasn't allowed
don't.
them
So here's
to
what we
talk
need
about
to
that in
do.
school.
We need, hold on, Kathleen. We need to talk about, Kathleen, hold on a second. Kathleen, come on now. Wait.
No, it doesn't.
We need to come together And we need to recognize the tragedy of what happened. But we need to celebrate the triumphs that happened.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Glory to God. That is the thing. That's the key.
So if that happened, there is a responsibility, I believe, that Black Americans have to do more and to do better. Because people died. People lost their lives, and they still forged through. And so when we don't come together and share, now there will be some Black people that be, oh my God, how could you even feel that way? You're not really emotional. You just have white guilt. Well, now you're darn you do if you're darn if you don't. If you feel some kind of way, oh my God, you white guilt. No, why can't I just feel? Mm-hmm. We need to come together and talk. We are more alike than we are different. We all want to feed our families. We all want to be able to do certain things. And the powers that be, because have you noticed that it's the Al Sharptons, the Oprahs, all of the elite that make all this money, more money than probably we're going to see in this room, that are saying, don't trust this, don't do that. No. We on a middle class level have to come together, and we need to tell the story. We need to tell both of the stories. My father was beat in his home, and my parents didn't tell me. We didn't talk about things like that. But you'll have other Black families that they'll rehearse over and over again, something called collective memories when you look at some scholarly journal. If we rehearse over and over and over and over and over again what white folks did or what the white man did to me. If a purple penguin comes in here and locks us all up and we just spend the next 20 years talking about, oh, the purple penguin. Whoa, my God, the purple penguin. That's all we're going to focus on. 3 of us may rise out of it, and 4 of you may go, oh, I'm just a victim. It's not that. We have to make a choice to come together and say, the powers that be do not get the right or the authority to tell me how to think and how to feel. My earth suit does not govern my life. My sexuality does not govern my life. What governs my life is those moral values, that moral code that calls me to treat other people with dignity and respect.
We're
That's
in
it.
full agreement with
Full
you.
agree.
Full
Fully
agreement.
agree.
Everyone agrees. Agree.
I'm thinking that
Shula
over.
Smith Firestone, do you know who she is?
Sorry?
Shula Smith Firestone. Have you read the book Feminism Against Progress by Mary Harrington?
I have not.
When did the feminist movement actually start?
Well, if you want to go back as far as Susan B. Anthony,
Go way back.
I think there's always been some feminist movement. Some of it just got more press than the rest. And probably World War II did more to advance women than any other event in American history, because they had no
They had to
longer
step
any
up to
excuse
the- yeah.
for not hiring us.
Yeah.
And
So working is the most important thing to women? Having a job?
being able to have a job, not
That's the most
necessarily.
important?
That is not what I said. We were banned from, all of us, from so many occupations and so many
Didn't women
areas.
work in World War II?
That's
what
what
she
I'm
said.
saying. That's when they had to acknowledge that women had equal or superior skills to the idiot men who'd been holding those jobs before. Yes, there was this big campaign to get us all back into the House in the 50s. And if you notice,
You dang right. So y'all wouldn't be daggone voting. Y'all don't need to be voting. You need to be in the house. Let the man go represent the family. Let us go represent the last name and the bloodline. God dang it. You get in that kitchen and you fix me a sandwich. Bare feet, woman. And make sure you're looking sexy while you do it. You better look sexy. Because if you don't, I'm going to have another family across town. That was a respectful conversation between 3 Black conservative women and 4 white liberal women. and they all make valid points. I stand on the side of the mostly on the conservative side, but I'm not a woman. What side do you stand on? Y'all let me know in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van. Now we are all the LFR family. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Hopefully inside the Patreon, our locals, become a member on our LFR family channel. Yeah, become a member on the LFR family channel. Do that. Hit the join button and become a member. All right. All right. And if you're interested in starting your own channel or doing some type of content creation, especially if you're old, you're over the age of 40, I believe that you should start a channel. Why? Because this is the time to do it. Plus, you could potentially make a poop ton of money someday if you're consistent, and it can retire you from your job. Hello, somebody. Happened to me. I was working for the federal government for 17 years, and YouTube helped the brother out. All right. I'm just saying. All right. I'll see y'all in the next one. We have been helping people grow online. It has been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators get from zero to monetization in under 30 days. We even have a couple of these superstars who did it in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to learn how to do YouTube, I don't care your age, I don't care what skills or talents you have. Trust me, I can help you do it effortlessly. Just reach out to me with the word coach and we can get it done. One more thing. We have a YouTube course that I just now created. I'm extremely proud of, and a lot of people are getting so much from. Purchase that course and work with us. You can join our private Facebook group and our daily group calls, which is 3 to 5 days per week, and you can learn so much more than you've ever learned before. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Peace.